Ladies, are you excited?
Woo!
Good morning.
Good morning.
We are super excited to be here, and we wanted to give you a sneak peek of what's going to be taking place with us on March 21st. Are you ladies ready to get empowered?
Absolutely. Oh, we already are.
Or better yet, are you ready to get them empowered?
Yes. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, this morning we're going to spend just 1 hour talking to you, giving you some insight into things you can do in 2020 to get empowered. And we're going to give you some tips that you're going to use not only now, but hopefully for years to come. I have with me a number of ladies. They're going to share with you things that they're going to talk about at the conference. I'm so excited to bring this to you, and I hope you're excited too. But here, let me give you one thing to do. Number one, sit back and relax. Number two, grab your pen and paper. There's going to be power coming out of here, and you don't want to miss it. And then invite your friends. Right now, add people to this live so that they too can be a part of this experience. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, listen, let's get started. How about that?
Sounds good.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit about wellness. How many of you know we're at the start of the new year?
Yes. Yep.
We are how many days in?
10, 11.
11 days into the new year, and we're already, I'm sure by now you've already started working on your goals or resolutions, whatever you call them, but you're well into it. And so we're going to give you some things that can help you go one step further, the next step further, all the way to your final destination. So let's get started. I'm going to start by simply talking about this whole concept called wellness mindset. Do you ladies have a wellness mindset?
Absolutely.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes. And when we think about that, I want you to think about it's a mindset where you're positive, where you are setting yourself up for success. Now, wellness is not just a concept or word that society is using. It's really a form or place of being. I want you to think about how do you want to live? And most of us want to live in a positive way. And as I think about that, these ladies are going to be sharing nuggets with you physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially to get you on track for 2020. Now, as much as I love to talk, I am not going to do all the talking. You see all these beauties around me? They're going to do talking. So with that, let's get started. I want to start with one of my favorite concepts, which is this whole concept of physical wellness. Now, I see some faces around here that specialize in that area. And I think to kick us off, we're going to start with my friend here, Dr. Tina.
Hello, thank you. Thank you, everybody. I'm Dr. Tina Gottlieb, and I have the pleasure every day of helping amazing and wonderful people get well and stay well so that they can focus on what they love and make their impact on the world. And at the Empowered Women in Wellness, we are going to talk about success longevity, how you can be consistently effective to be successful both today and in the future. Because you are your greatest investment. Yes, you, just you, your greatest investment. And the things you do today can and will impact your future. So during the conference, we're going to dive deep into what I call the foundation of wellness. This is 4 things for me. Foundation of wellness is your movement, it's your sleep, it's the fuel that you put into your body, and it's the innate function of your body. That's the control system. You have a body that was designed to function optimally and to work well. So today I have 2 simple tips for you that you could start right now, and by the time we meet on March 21st, you're going to be telling me what a great impact they have in your life.
That's awesome.
The first one is to hydrate. You can see all my friends here, most of them are hydrating while we talk to you. So I would like you to make sure that you drink at least 50 ounces of water a day. Yes, 50. And if you were one of my patients, you would know that after I tell you to drink 50 and you come cheering that you've done it, I'm going to ask you to increase that number a little bit. So every day, log what you've been drinking, keep track, and eventually, by the time we meet on March 21st, I'd like you to tell me you're drinking half your body weight in water every day. So the second tip I have for you is that when you're holding that phone right now, as you're watching this wonderful live feed, why do you have your phone? This is my magic phone. Hold it up in front of you. Hold all of your electronics in front of you. Don't drop them down into your lap. You want, thank you, Missy.
Yes.
You want to protect your neck. Your neck has a tremendous impact on your health and well-being, and that simple effect will make you healthy both today and in tomorrow. I look forward to seeing you all on March 21st at the Empowered Women in Wellness.
Yay! I can't wait, Tina. It's going to be awesome, Doctor. Thank you for sharing. So you've heard it live, guys. You want to be in the conference. You want to be a part of Dr. Tina's workshop. Don't miss out, and do take those tips that she just gave you and make them real in your life. Bring them to life so that you are healthier and happier. With that, I want to now move it over to my friend next door. We're going to talk, she's going to talk a little bit about the whole concept of eat, sleep, move, and breathe. And we're going to bring it together when you think about the physical aspect of life. And you are?
My name is Lisa Mariella, and I'm a group fitness instructor, and I also own my own health and wellness business where I coach people through a 30-day clean eating program. And I'm going to give you a sneak preview of my workshop that I'm going to be doing, Eat, Sleep, Move, and Breathe. I'm also going to give you some tips that you can use leading towards the conference so that you can spring into action to make 2020 your best year yet. So as women, oftentimes we put ourselves last. We're taking care of our families, our households, our careers, and when we're done with all of that, there's really nothing left for us. But here's the irony in that. You cannot fill from an empty cup. So, when you do not make enough time for yourself, you are not only going to suffer yourself, but you're going to make other people suffer too. The people that you care about are not going to get your very best, and no one and nothing is going to get your very best. So that's my tip number one. You have to make time for yourselves, ladies. It is not selfish, it's a necessity. So, you may be asking, how can I do that? I have all these different things on my plate. How can I possibly add more time to my day? And here's the key. We all have the same 24 hours. Preparation is key. Time is our most valuable commodity, so in order to make time for your wellness, you need to schedule it every day. And it may mean taking other things that are not as important off your schedule, and even delegating, God forbid, right? So we need to make that time. And if you make time for your wellness, then you will make sure that your needs and your highest priorities are fulfilled. So that's tip number one. Now, as Kimberly mentioned, I'm going to be talking about 4 different key aspects of wellness: eat, sleep, move, and breathe. And so since we're going to spring into action, I'm going to give you tip number 2, which is really just a call to action. Kind of like what Doctor said over there, I'm going to ask you to start this today.
Yes.
Start it today. Make sure that you're getting enough sleep every day. It's recommended that all adults get at least 7 hours of sleep per day. How many of us actually do that? Yes, me too. Yes, sometimes. Yes, occasionally.
Right.
Yes. So that is your call to action. Most of us burn the candle, maybe not most of us, but a lot of us burn the candle at both ends. And when we do that, then we are overwhelmed, exhausted, and cranky. We don't like being cranky. We don't like being cranky. So please make that time, find the time to get that sleep. So you have the power to change your wellness.
Yes.
You do. So it starts with making yourself a priority, scheduling time for yourself, and making sure you get enough sleep. Let's make 2020 great.
Yes. And if I could just add to Lisa's just really a moment and talk about this piece about movement. Movement is medicine. So if you're doing absolutely nothing today, I want to encourage you to spend 20 minutes. 20 minutes a day. That's a walk, that's a run, that's a swim, that's a bike. You've got to move. When we talk eat, sleep, move, then Mary's going to talk about breathing. But that is so essential. Without that movement, guys, you miss so many opportunities. Our body is empowered. Our body is ignited by movement. So make sure you plan time, as Lisa said, to move in at least 20 minutes and start today. So with that, I want to turn it over to Mary to talk about breathing.
Hey, my favorite topic for anybody who knows me. I'm the breathing lady. I'm Mary O'Dwyer. I have Mary's Blue Door, and I'm really passionate about helping people connect to their heart's desire so that they can then go ahead and lead the life of their dreams, the life that they want, the life that really fulfills them. And the key to doing all of that is the breath. So why am I so passionate about the breath? And really, it comes down to two things. The first is my own experiences with transformational breath work. And that truly did transform me. I didn't realize that the poster was true. It would transform me inside and out, and it has. And when you think about the breath, it's the very first thing we do when we come into this life, and it's the very last thing we do before we leave. And yet most of us don't spend any time really giving it the attention it deserves, nor do we fully realize the power of our breath. Because that power that we're looking for, the power to change, it comes with our breath. So what is the breath? It's more than just the oxygen that we breathe. While there's a lot of physical benefits to that, there is more than that, because it is the life force. It is respiration, re-spiritization. It is the spirit that we're bringing into our body, the Holy Spirit, the prana, the life force. And so it's so powerful, and that's why it can be so transforming in our lives. So there's two main ways that we work with the breath. There's what I call the regulatory breath, which is the calming breath, and I'm going to talk about that here today. It's going to be my tip for you. At the conference, what I'm going to dive into is talking about the deep, integrative healing work that we can do with the breath. And that's where we heal old wounds, old traumas, old patterns, old triggers, so that we really can start to lead the empowered life that we want. But let's start with the calming breath, because this is where it has to start. And we start with a very basic diaphragmatic breath. So I'm going to stand up for a moment so that you can see.
Can we do it with you?
Pardon?
Can we do it with you?
You can, but I'm just going to do a little bit, I'm just going to show the diaphragmatic muscle, because not everybody is aware of what the diaphragm is. So it's a dome-shaped muscle that runs along the bottom of our rib cage, and so it's kind of shaped like this. And when we inhale, what happens is a number of things, but two things I'm going to talk about is it's going to flatten out, and when that happens, our abdomen is going to rise because all of our organs have been pushed out of the way. So that's how you know if you're doing a diaphragmatic breath, if your belly has a natural rise on the inhale. The second thing that happens is that flattening out of the diaphragm kind of causes all the oxygen to be sucked into the lower lobes of the lungs. That's where the magic of calming down happens, because there's receptors in the lower lobes of the lungs that when oxygen interacts with them, that sends the physiological response to the brain that triggers the parasympathetic nervous system, and that's the part of our nervous system that calms us down, that releases those endorphins and serotonins and all those things that help us to feel good. However, the diaphragm is a muscle. It's like any other muscle in our body, like that movement, right? We gotta practice it. We gotta work with it. So that's my action step, and we're all gonna do this breath together. And you can do it at home too, but you gotta practice it, because when we need this calming most is when we're triggered, right? When we're escalating. But if it's not our habit, if our diaphragm doesn't know what to do through, repetitive working out, then we're not going to be able to access it as easily. So I recommend that you do this 5 minutes every day, either before you go to bed at night, maybe sitting in your car when you come home from work before you enter the house, or first thing in the morning. But if you practice this deep diaphragmatic breath every day between now and the conference, your diaphragm is going to be in great shape, and you'll be able to take a real deep dive into the integrative work that we can do with this. So let's all put our hands on your low belly. Everyone's sitting, so you can sit at home. If you're watching this in bed, that's also awesome. I would maybe prop yourself up a little bit, put some pillows behind your back. You want to put your hands on your low belly, right? Because this is where we don't want just your upper belly to move. We want our lower belly. So you want to, way below your belly button, down your pubic bone, and you're just going to allow the breath to flow in. So you can breathe through your nose or your mouth, but your mouth breathing will allow your diaphragm to be engaged a little bit more easily. So just take a nice breath in and breathe out. And in and out. And you should be able to feel a little movement. Can everyone feel a little movement of the low belly?
Of course.
Of course. And if you're at home going, I don't really feel it, you can just bend your knees, like tuck your knees in a little bit, put a little bolster under your feet so that your knees come up a little higher. If you're laying in bed, just literally bend your knees And that's when you relax your pelvic girdle, which will allow your diaphragm to move with a little bit more ease. So that's your tip. Get your practice in. If you need more information, text us, email us, tag us, and we'll address your needs. So can't wait to see you, get you empowered, ready to move, breathe, get your wellness all in order by March 21st.
Yay. Thank you, Mary. I hope you're breathing. I know it's easy to not, but right now we're breathing. Ladies, are you breathing? Yes, yes? All right. Well, let's take a look at our friend over here. We're going to bounce over to Kelly, and she's going to tell you a little bit about what she's doing at our conference on March 21st. That's it.
Hi everybody, my name is Kelly Harrell. I am an author, I'm an inspirational fiction author. I have published 7 books and number 8 comes out on February 11th. Yay! I have also been in education for 20 years. I homeschool my own kids. I'm a leader in the church. I do all kinds of stuff. But one thing most people don't know about me is I struggled with depression for over 30 years. And you might not know it by looking at me, right? Because I don't look like someone who has struggled with depression. Do you see it?
I don't.
Do you see it? But here's the thing. 1 in 5 people, 1 in 5, struggle with depression. So if there are 12 people here today, there are 2 of us that at some point have struggled. Oh yes, because we have more out there too, right?
Yes.
So I'm really passionate about this topic because I know that you can fight it. And I have a workshop that I'm going to present that I really want you to come to, especially if you struggle with depression or anxiety. I found this amazing thing. Depression and anxiety are like this, right? And you can't have one without the other. If you have both, it's horrific. But at the conference, I'm going to talk to you about how you can fight against depression and anxiety. And FIGHT is actually an acronym that I use to help you remember what you need to do. So today I want to share with you the first step, and that would be, it starts with an F, and it is forget the lies. How many lies do you tell yourself during the day? I'm not good enough. If only I had this car, if only I had this job, I would be a better person, I would be a better mom. I'll never find the right guy. We tell ourselves lies all the time. I'm not smart enough. I can't. Do you realize that when you say I can't, you're telling yourself a lie? You can if you put your mind to it. I wrote 7 books in 7, I published 7 books in 7 years. In 1 year, I wrote 3 books. Wow. I'm not kidding you. And I homeschool and I do all these things, right? And I work full time. But I did it by setting aside time, by setting parameters. But even now that I've come past, I want to think that I've come past the lies, I just found out recently I was telling myself another lie. The lie that I told myself starting 10 years ago when I started my journey to be an author was, I'll be a real author when I get a publisher. And I held on to that, and I would pitch every single book that I wrote. And I would write my query letters, and I would go to those writers' conferences, and I would be so nervous, but I would do it, and you know what? I didn't get picked up. And I didn't get picked up. And so my husband, God bless him, he's such an amazing man, he said, you know what? You have a great story to tell, we're gonna publish it. So I published my first book, and I published my second book myself, and I pitched my next series of 4 books. I pitched them all, and no one picked them up, so I published them. And you know what? They changed lives, and they helped people. And all of a sudden, book number 7 got picked up by a publisher.
Woo!
And you know what? I thought, hey, I have like arrived, right? I'm a real author now. No, I was a real author when I published book
Number 1, that's right.
And you know what? Just this month, I got out of my publishing contract. I received back the rights of the 2 books that they had already published. The first book in the series, The Deceived, and the second book was actually set to come out at the end of January. And I got my rights back because you know what? It was doing awful things to my body. I was not sleeping at least 7 hours a night. I was lucky if I got 5 hours. I was working 12 plus hours a day just on my writing, and then I had all my other obligations. I wasn't breathing. I felt like I couldn't breathe. Literally, I felt like I couldn't breathe. And I realized, you know what? I even got to a place where I hated my writing. It all started with a lie that I told myself that I was not being a good writer until I found a publisher. Friends, I encourage you today, moving forward into March, I want you to think about what lies are you telling yourself about. Dig deep, because they might not be surface stuff. I didn't know what a big lie that was, that I needed a publisher, until I broke free from it. And so I encourage you, write down those lies, and when they come to your mind, because they will, and you'll tell yourself you're not good enough for whatever reason, I want you to immediately say, that's a lie. That's a lie. And that's just the first step. So you have to come on March 21st. Come to my workshop so that you can learn the rest of the acronym, how to fight against depression and anxiety.
Woo, I can't wait. It is going to be amazing. I hope you can see that by now. I'm so excited. I'm ready to go to the workshop right now. Where do I sign up? Right?
Online.
Online.
At Empowered Women in Wellness.
Yes, yes. That's right.
baby.
Online.
Again.
EmpoweredWomenInWellness.org. Sign up today. In fact, at the end of our live, we're going to have a special for all of you that are here live with us. One thing, yes. As we get financially well, it's going to be great because it's going to save you some money. So think about that. One thing I want to encourage you to do right now is submit your questions. We will have a Q&A session at the end. So post your questions. Let us know what you're thinking, what questions you have, so we can address them. Now, Kelly just talked about anxiety and depression. We know it's real. When we think about mental wellness, we know it's real. The question is not when is it going to happen, if it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So Navy here is going to talk about if and when it happens, what do you do to navigate the water, to navigate the storm? Navy.
My workshop is called Weathering the Storm, and it's skills for you to sail through your next big challenge. What we don't know is what the challenge is. What we do know is that we're going to look at it in a few different phases. We're going to look at it at the before, the during, and the after. And my mindset is to go through it with intent and focus. So one of the things that we can do in the beforehand, and it doesn't matter where you are in there, maybe you're in the middle of something, you can just jump into my workshop and pick up whatever pieces. But I'm going to start with phase 1 right now, and that's coming into it. And to Kelly's point is I'm coming from the perspective of mental wellness and being intact and going through with intent. So, and I'll tell you my website at the end of this also. What we're going to do is understand how we think, and because when you go through a difficult challenge in life, the thing that you need to do is get a serene focus so you can think about what you're going to do with it. And when you're in the middle of the challenge, you're bombarded with all kinds of stuff. Your life has just changed in some way. You've got different people coming at you with different demands. So in the before, I'm going to talk about habits, creating habits. We've been talking about creating habits. And it takes time. The technique is called deliberate practice. Dr. Angela Duckworth has a fantastic book. It's called Grit. She has a great chapter on deliberate practice. Deliberate practice is understanding and that the fact that in our brains, the neurons that fire together, when you have a sequence, you have them firing together and they will wire together. And when they do that, you are creating a really strong channel, and that strong channel becomes a habit. So we're going to talk about creating habits of getting into a good mental focus. And so one of the things that I would give you as ready for the March 21st workshop is understanding what points in your day do you have a nice serene focus. Like for me, laundry. Like I can dig deep and get and have a fantastic and I'm just folding laundry. But I dig in and like I had my boyfriend Eric come in and he's looking at me for 3 minutes and he's like, "Hi, where have you been for the last 3 minutes? You're having a conversation." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm just folding laundry." But so one of the things that we're going to talk about in terms of like multitasking and all that is scheduling a time with yourself, scheduling a meeting with yourself to think about these things. Like instead of hashing at night, like going, "Oh my gosh, how am I going to work on this?" Schedule a time with yourself. I've got 45 minutes of folding laundry. I am going to schedule a meeting with myself tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, and I am going to hash this out while I'm pairing up socks. Something along those lines. Multitasking, your laundry's done, and you've given your brain a chance to go through what it wants to, what it needs to. So that's one of the things, is to understand where in your life, where in your day, you have a good time of the serene focus. And sometimes that doesn't, we need to make that happen. So another skill that we're going to address in our workshop is, along the lines with movement, is allowing yourself, giving yourself permission to go out the door, take a walk, and have some structured practice on pushing those anxieties out of your head. Now, I just talked about the fact that I am coming from a perspective of 37 years with depression. We need to get together with that. And I'm going to tell you, yes, 37 years with depression. And how did I get out of it? And this is a skill, because depression and anxiety go hand in hand, because what happens is this area of your head, it's called the limbic system. It accesses memories, and it creates emotions, and it goes in overdrive. So what we need to do is balance what the limbic system is doing, the activity of it, and the prefrontal cortex. This is the area that you already have. You already have the ability to really rationalize and understand where you are and what you want to do. So you go. This is the second little tidbit. We're going to have more in the class, but second little tidbit: you go out for a walk, and you bring gratitude. You make gratitude happen in your life, because gratitude and anxiety are at opposite ends of the spectrum. So we're talking about just taking 20 minutes, like breathe, and like for our 20 minutes of movement. Go out, multitask with your 20 minutes. Take a few minutes, whatever is in your immediate world that you're noticing. The color of the sky is really beautiful today. That bush has the most lovely pink. Just, it doesn't matter. Just come up with something, anything. Like, oh, the lids in my pocket is kind of fuzzy and fun to play with. It doesn't matter what it is. Create gratitude. Make gratitude happen in your day, and what that does is it gives your brain and body the chance to get out of those anxieties for even just a few minutes, and that's so relieving, so that when you are going through that big storm, you know you have control of being able to push those anxieties out for a minute and give yourself a few minutes to breathe, to move, to focus, and be your own self for a few minutes. So we're going to talk about that skill also in mind. We're going to talk about what you're going to do during the actual event. How do you process all the emotions that you're going through? Sometimes we go through grief, anger, and like fear. How do we process those emotions while we're going through that? And the final thing that we're going to talk about is the after. We know we talk about a lot of times a sense of closure. Like, well, what does that really mean? Like, did I close the door on that chapter? A lot of times we'll think like, oh, I don't even want to. I won't even think about it. It was so horrible. What I'm going to do in my class also is talk about how to arrive at a point where you have balance. Because sometimes, say, for example, it's a divorce, and you cannot just shut that out of your life. That's constantly coming back in. And how do you go through and have that create what we call a sense of closure, where you're not going through the rest of your life needing to look at that, but having a raw wound of emotion that comes up all the time. So we're going to talk about the before with the deliberate practice of getting ourselves in the right mindset. The during, where we're understanding how to process those emotions. And we're remembering to make time for ourselves to be able to just like clear and not have those anxieties just bombard us. And we're going to talk about the after, and that's the sense of closure as our society terms it, but we're going to get that in so that you can look back on the situation with a nice balance and wholeness and wellness.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that's my workshop, and it doesn't matter what and so we're incorporating a lot. So I hope that the slot that you have for me is like right around your breathing and your just as a little tidbit, like as we're going through, I also just launched my website. It's called depressiveswar.com. If it's hard to, you can, depressionwar.com also works because yes, it is a fight, it is a war. Depressionwar.com, and in that newly launched website, I'm going to have, it's a community information hub. And it's going to be like, oh, what is it? I'm going to have a page on what is depression, on page on like, what can I get? I'm thinking of therapy. What can I get from therapy? I'm going to have a page on like, well, how does this neuron work? How does this structured practice? Like, how does it work? All kinds of pages on it. It's just a community information hub. It's all free, and it's from things that I've learned, Kelly's learned throughout 30 years, 40 years of having depression. So that's my workshop. I really hope to see you on March 21st.
Awesome. Well, as you've heard, mental wellness is truly a battle. Yesterday, one of my clients posted on their pages that they just finished their workout, and it was the mental workout. And so it's so important that we really look on that. And as Navy and Kelly have shared and alluded to, there's some work that needs to be done. And I know that there are many out there who are suffering from that. Suffering, dealing with it every single day. People that feel like they're healthy and happy, I too, every one of these ladies I'm sure have had moments when they were in a lull. And we need techniques, tactics that will help us pull out of that situation. And here I have Misty Kerrigan, who's going to share a little bit with us as well, and in terms of mental wellness.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am excited to be here today, and I'm going to start right off with a tip. And the first tip is move. Change your state. As soon as one of your things start going in your head, your lies, move. Get your breathing going. Get your connection going. Get out of your head. Everything we're talking about today is a muscle. Your brain is a muscle. Your mindset is a muscle. I've been in the field of mental health for over 18 years, and people ask me all the time, I still have negative thoughts. You'll always have negative thoughts. They're like fart bubbles in your head. It's okay. The movement and the muscle is to counteract them. You have a thought, let it go. Just let it go. Let your thought go. 2020 is a year of action. The year of action. And the first thing you need to do after you remind yourself that that's just a fart bubble and that's a stupid thought and I'm going to let it go is surround yourself with a tribe.
Yes.
You are the sum of the 5 people you choose to spend your time with.
Ooh, that's good.
You are the sum of the 5 people you choose to spend your time with. Now that gets scary because that's financially,
Yes.
that's mentally, that's emotionally, that's all of the big things in your life that you're sitting and wanting to change. The first thing you need to change is, where are you spending your time? Now, I'm not saying let your family go and your friends and start over. That's scary. Most people are not going to do it. I'm saying limit your time with those that aren't bringing you joy, that aren't helping you thrive in your life. I truly believe when you thrive in your own life, others are inspired to do the same. And that's when it gets exciting. We arrived here this morning, and I hate mornings. I wish Kim would said, see you at noon. And I'm like, see you at noon. No. She said, see you at 7:30. But to be here and to be around these ladies and to be part of this movement, 7:30 was 7:30. No excuses. I got up. I put my fancy hat on. I got my vest, and I got here. Because I knew just being in here, this hour is going to motivate me more than just today. This hour is going to push me through January, and getting to know these ladies is going to get me to the conference. And that conference conference is going to explode changes. Because the one thing that we need to know is that we have these gifts in our lives. We have these innate things that come from beyond us. I call them seeds of greatness. Yes. And if you're sitting at home and you know your life is not where you want it, that you want it, you know, my life is great. I'm not saying I don't love my husband and my family and my job, but there's more in here. If you feel that there's more, that's because you need to get out and start nurturing them more. Yes. Start watering. A plant can't grow in the dark. It needs sunlight. It needs water. It needs the appropriate environment. And part of that environment is who are you with? Who are you surrounding yourself? So your first step, marching forward in our 2020 All Things Wellness is join a group. Join a group. Get around some other people. Get to that coffee that you've been putting off all 2019. Oh, girl, we got to get together. We got to get together. And you never make time for that. Get to that coffee with that friend that you know, like, oh, she's making some changes. Let me see what she's about. Get there. Get there. That's what we're all about, is just that first baby step. So in my talk, what we're going to really talk about is inspirations into assets. How do you take those seeds of greatness that you want to impact the world and maybe even get some side hustle going on with that? Or at least side impact. Get some side impact going. You have our daily lives and we're all amazing in them. But what do we do after our day? What can those little baby steps do to our breathing, our health, our movement, our minds? Our minds. That's your most important muscle, because it all starts there. It all starts with getting your butt off the couch and just taking those baby steps forward. So the last tip I'm going to give you, because we're going to have tons of tips at the conference, March 21st, 3, 2, 1, blast off. It's get excited again. Unfortunately, what we do as women is we get excited for others. Your girlfriend comes, she's like, I got a new idea, I got a new man. Woo, yay! So excited for you! And then for ourselves, we have a new idea, and our first thought is, that'll never work. That's just not gonna work. Right, our lives kick in. So the tip is, if you talk to yourself, like you're a stranger or a friend would talk to you, what would you do with that? If your friend came and said all the things in your head to you, I guarantee you that would not be a friend. So start separating that out. Would I tell my friend this, or would I allow someone else to tell myself that? And then if you wouldn't, then you get to say, fart bubble, let it go, and then you move on to that next step. One of the things that we're going to be doing at the conference, and all the classes are kind of just aligned with each other and getting excited for 2020, the new decade, is helping you get outside of yourself so that you can connect to what's next. What do I need to release this year? And what do I want to step towards?
That's good.
Everyone here, I guarantee you, is excited for this year. We're excited for the conference, but the conference is just part of what we're excited for. So come, surround yourself with us. We're super excited that you're here today, because not many people got up and got on, but we're super excited that you got up, you got on. So head over to our website and make that commitment to just that first baby step to changing the direction of your life.
What's the website? Website again?
All right, ladies, listen, did you hear this? Do you hear what's going on, what's taking place? That's going to take place on March 21st. Our theme for this year's conference is You've Got the Power. Yes, I said power. And what you hear from this table right now is that you are not controlled by anyone, but instead you, me, her, we individually and personally have the power, everything that it takes within inside of us to make life changes, to become empowered women, to become the best version of ourselves in 2020. Now my question to you is, will you do it? Are you ready? And if you're not, we're going to give you tips, tools, techniques to help you get there. I'm excited. And if you're not, by now, you should be. But like Misty said, and all the others, get ready. It's coming. We're so excited. And make sure you get over to registration. EmpoweredWomenandWellness.org. All right?
3, 2, 1, blast off.
3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1.
Blast off.
We're going to be springing Do you know March 21st is the first day of the spring? Perfect time to spring into action. And with that, I'm gonna have Lauren talk a little bit about taking action, valuing yourself, your superpowers.
Absolutely. I'm Lauren Fogelman, and I empower entrepreneurs to be able to double their income working half the time. Basically, as a sports psychologist turned business coach, what I realized is that success happens from the inside out. You've been hearing it over and over and over again from all of these amazing women about health and wellness, fighting depression, sleeping, breathing, body movement, how you hold your posture. All of it comes together in this really wonderful way. However, it's about the inside out. And the first thing you need to really look at is whether you're interested or committed.
Yes.
If you're interested, you'll just do what's convenient, and as soon as you're asked to do something out of your comfort zone, you'll make excuses, you'll go back to old ways of doing things that really weren't effective then, and it's still not satisfying for you now, but it's something that you know and you're comfortable with. You'll just check out. And that's not what we want for you. This is about empowerment, about the fact that the power starts within you. When you're committed, and you have been committed at some point before in your life, connect with that. You will realize that you will be willing to do whatever is necessary, even if it's uncomfortable. You will rise up. You will breathe. You will be charged. You will be on fire. And that is what we all want to do, is help you to get on fire once again, as you were with that other time that you were fully committed in your life. I was recently speaking with Sue, and Sue lost everything in the 2008 recession. She lost it all, and including everything that she lost financially, she also lost that confidence that she had within herself. Self-doubt kicked in. She really questioned herself. She gave it all away, as so many women typically do. And during the conversation, I was telling her that the one thing I have found about highly successful people is that they understand value. And there's 3 different types of value that I was sharing with her. One is about personal value. You have to value yourself before you can expect anybody else to value you.
Yes.
The second one, as far as being a business owner for her, is about pricing her services for value instead of charging by the hour and selling her time. What she knows is so much more important, and is where her real value is compared to what she does. And then the third thing that we talked about in the value formula was about having value conversations about people, finding out what really matters to them, their needs, their wants, and their desires, and how she can help them fulfill those desires instead of trying to pitch or sell someone. But when we were talking about that one thing about valuing yourself first, I was sharing with her about what my clients affectionately call your superpower. And your superpower, it's counterintuitive, because as women, we think it has to be hard and difficult. We make things harder for ourselves than they need to be. But your superpower is actually what's easy. It's that thing that is innately within you that comes easy to us. And because it comes so easy to us, we devalue it. But if you have something that comes easy to you, you love doing it, and you actually get energized when you're doing that thing, then that is a clue to pay attention to. That is your superpower. So the one tip I have for you is to think about, what is your superpower that comes easily to you? People ask you to do that thing, they value it, but you tend to dismiss it because you think that since it's easy for you, it's easy for everybody. It's not easy for everybody, but that's your highest value. It's your superpower. When you're in it, you actually gain energy from doing it. And connect with your superpower, own it, really come forward with that, and when you lead with that, then everything starts to shift. And that is what I'm going to talk about during my workshop, is how to connect with your value, how to be able to know what your highest value is, to price your value,
and to be able to lead people to you who value what you have to offer, so you never have to compromise, minimize, and give it all away again.
Wow. So ladies, you just heard it. We've talked physical wellness, we've talked mental wellness, and Lauren just started us off with some financial wellness. So if you are, a woman and you're concerned about your financial wellness, you don't want to miss her workshop. You don't want to miss this conference. We're going to give you the resources you need to live well, inside and out. And financial wellness, career, all those things are very important for women, especially since we hold a unique place in the marketplace. And in fact, Deborah is going to continue that financial wellness conversation. Deborah.
Hi, my name is Deborah, and I am a financial analyst and planner. And what I'm going to talk about in my workshop is about women and financial wellness beyond the bottom line. We're talking about things that we already know, where we came from the past to now, how women have become empowered to work, have become empowered to take control of their own finances. But we're still dealing with that wage gap, ladies. We know this. We know that there's a disparaging gap there. But what we don't often talk about is the wealth accumulation gap that comes with our absences from work, because we have to bear the children. Therefore, sometimes we are looked at as the primary caregivers. Sometimes we have to leave work to take care of them. We then become the caregivers of our parents oftentimes. We then become caregivers of our spouses, because they tend to be older than us and they tend to get sicker before us. So we tend to retire first or retire earlier. And those kinds of gaps cause our accumulation of wealth to be a lot lower than our male counterparts. So we're going to discuss things that we can do, because those things might not be able to change. We want to have families, we want to live our lives, we want to experience those things, and that is fine. But we want to talk about what you can do, what you can be empowered to do to analyze these issues, these challenges, these obstacles, and overcome them. First tip I want to give to you now is to talk about your finances. Women prefer to talk about death more than their own money.
Yeah.
That's crazy, and we'll go over the statistics for that. People rather talk about dying. And that's not right. We need to be able to be empowered to say, hey, this is what's going on in my finances, I need to fix it. So talk to somebody. If it's your spouse, if your spouse isn't great with money, find a financial professional. They don't have to be your financial analyst or your financial advisor. Someone that you know is great with money. Someone that you know has this kind of, they're put together, they know what to look for. Talk to them. Say, look, I really need some help figuring out how the things I should do to make sure that my wealth accumulation is on par with what I want to be in the future. It's about your goals. Where do you want to see yourself in 10, 20, 30 years? If it's sitting on the beach in Bora Bora, or if it's starting a new business that's all your own, or writing that book and not feeling pressure, not feeling stressed out about your finances. Because when your finances are down, it's hard to really focus on that breath. It's hard to focus on your life as a whole. It's hard to focus on your family. You're fighting with your spouse. You're fighting with your kids. You're taking things out on other people because you're not feeling in a place where you can release that financial stress and pressure. So it's all kinds of, it comes together. Even though finance is a little bit more practical, it really is a part of all the things that are spiritual. All of the things. How many times have you prayed to God, oh my God, I need this job. Oh God, how am I going to get my mortgage? It boils down to now I'm not grateful for what the things that I have out in the world, because all I'm focused on is what's in my pocketbook, what's in my bank account.
Good.
So it's taking that focus out and being able to just bring it all together in balance. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to be super wealthy. You don't have to be the Kardashians. You can be you, but you can be the perfect you that you can be, and your finances can come in line with what your goals are. So that's what I'm going to be doing. If you're analytical like me and you want to talk about numbers and you want to talk about, hey, what can I do to get my finances on track? Come and come to our conference, empoweredwomenandwellness.org. Come to my workshop. We're happy to see you.
Yay. That's so exciting. And I know many of you have have goals, especially when it comes to finances, not in 2020, but maybe you're taking that first step. Like Deborah said, there are some numbers out here that will really shock you when it comes to women and where we are financially. So I want to encourage you to get to the workshop. Get there. One thing I want to remind you, make sure you're sharing this with your friends and family. If you are not right now, go ahead and hit like or add them to this live video. Make sure you're following us on Instagram, Facebook, and we're also streaming this live on YouTube. We have videos that are going live on YouTube. So this information is not just here right now at this moment. It's going to be available for time to come. So now, as we transition off of financial and start looking at the spiritual side, we've got a couple of ladies who are going to share some concept with us. You've heard some of them already bringing them to the table, or coming to the table, but I want to bring them out in a bigger way. Ms. Fernanda Loritti is going to share a little bit about gratitude.
Hi, good morning. I'm very happy to be here today. Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you all for being part of this project and helping each other to be where we want to be. I have been studying for 28 years and teaching and helping people how to understand their mind so they can help their minds to help themselves. So you can finally have the life you always wanted, the life that you always desired to have in every single aspect, in your relationship, in your finance, in your health, and in your about anything that you want to happen in life. And through all those studies that I have been working with, and all the masters that I work with, and all the students that I work with, I realized that one of the biggest key for you to be where you want to be is to have a grateful heart, a grateful mind. And a lot of people ask me what it really means to be grateful. When someone gives something to me, I say thank you. Is that to be grateful? And I say, no, that is being polite. And some people say, oh, I go to church every weekend, and I say all my gratitude. No, that's prayer. You're praying for God. You're saying thank you to God. The real gratitude in your mind and your heart is changing the way you see things all the time, 24/7, from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep. When you wake up, it's realizing all of what you have around of you, starting from being able to breathe. If you stop your breathing, if you close your nose, what's going to happen? You're going to start screaming, please, 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 give me air. I don't have air, I need to breathe. And then you realize that is something that you never even thought about. To be grateful for the air that you breathe every day. For being able to walk every day. A lot of people don't have their two legs. And I understood that when I was 14 years old and I was in a wheelchair and the doctors told me I could not walk. But believing and knowing that my mind could help me to be where I want to be and working every day, okay, in this situation, what can I be grateful for? Even if I'm in the wheelchair right now, I can still breathe, I still have my arms, I can still reach things. I still can work on my mind to be where I want to be because I'm wise and intelligent. So I can use towards of what I really want to happen in my life. So the moment you start changing the way you see things on your daily basis, that is when your life starts changing. And you change your way you see things all the time towards of being grateful. Not only when people do something to you, no. That is just something that of your kindness, of your heart, and being polite, you're going to say thank you. But especially on the things that surrounds you every single day. And actually, even further, with the things that you don't want to happen in your day, that you get very pissed off, and you get very mad. And that is when you are being called to change the way you see things. And ask yourself, what can I be grateful on this situation right now?
Yes.
The moment you change and you shift the way you see things, and the moment you're able to be grateful for that terrible situation that's happening in front of you at that moment, and you start asking yourself, what can I be grateful for right now? You start seeing things in a totally different way. And at the moment you do that, what happens is a magical twist will happen in your life. Because you go from lack, complaint, to be blessed, to be grateful, to be happy. And the moment you come from here, that's not positive, to where it's positive, and going back to how our mind works, everything you focus on, you attract. So if you come out of the lack, what I don't have, why I don't have this, why this is happening to me, why my life is so terrible, why they left me, why I lost my job, why I kicked my feet at the door, my life is miserable. The more you talk about that, the more you think about that, the more you're going to have of that. And you don't realize that. The moment you shift and you come here and you start thinking and acting based on what you're grateful for, what can I be grateful for here, right now? What can I do with this situation that will elevate my energy, that will make me feel grateful, that will make me feel happy and joyful? What can I do? And you start focusing on those parts. What do I have right now that I can use right now to change my life to be where I want to be? So that's where you're going from lack to gratitude. And it's very understandable. Don't be mad with yourself. Don't kick yourself up. Because if you just realize, yeah, I'm terrible. I just think about bad things all the time. I'm terrible with myself. I'm terrible with my life. I'm terrible with the people surrounded of me because I just criticize them. I just see bad things about them. The moment you realize that you're born like that, that's not your fault. When you're born crying. You're screaming out of your mouth. And then you realize that every time you scream, they hug you, they feed you, they put clothes in you, they make you warm. So then you start, your brain, your subconscious start thinking, that's what I need to do. I need to scream. I need to cry. Because every time when I cry, I get what I want. But then you grow up, and then you continue whining. Yeah. I want this, I don't want that, I don't want that. Please give me this, give me that. And you're like, why do you not give me anymore? I'm still screaming and crying, but I'm not getting what I want. And then you get mad, and then you get frustrated, and then everything gets worse and worse and worse and worse. So I'm going to give you 2 tips to shift all this right now. Start your life right now. Change your life
right now.
Right now. 2 tips.
Right now.
Get a piece of paper. Get a book. Go to 99-cent store. Get a booklet. Something that you can write on. Right now, start writing 3 things you are grateful for. Make a commitment for 33 days. Every single day. Doesn't matter what. Write at least 3 things you are grateful for. Can be the most simple thing and start breathing. I can breathe, I can walk, I can see, I can talk,
yes.
I have food. Simple things. If you start doing that, I can guarantee you your life is going to shift. The second tip, every single day, doesn't matter what happened, especially if it's not what you like it, ask yourself, what can I be grateful in this situation? What is the situation is teaching me right now? And now, if you want to learn more, if you want to get out of here and get there, if you want to do something about your life, if you want to start complaining and shift from the complaining to have the life you desire, to be happy every day, to jump off the bed happy and joyful, ready to do what you love, sign up for this workshop. Sign up for the March 21st.
Yes.
Come
Yes.
to join
Yes.
this
Yes.
group. Do something about your life.
Yes.
Because you always ask, what do I do, God? What do I do? I don't know what to do. Might be the hint of God giving to you. Here, do something. Here's where you can go. Here's where you can learn. This is where you can take the next step. When we pray for, when we ask for to change our life, pay attention to the hints.
Woo.
Everything that shows up in front of you
Let's go.
is guiding you to be there. So you can change your life, so you can be where you want to be, so you can change in every single aspect. All of us will be there to help you. We'll be there with you in mind. So you can go from here to there in every single aspect of your life.
Yes,
And you can
yes,
be
yes.
So March 21st, go sign up right now. Take that advantage of the 50% off of the gift that they are giving to you today. Don't procrastinate.
Do
Don't
it.
postpone.
That's right.
Your life is here. 2020 is your year.
Woo!
But for you,
Yeah.
you need to join people that are there doing and helping you to be there. Use the knowledge
Thank
and
you, Fernanda.
apply. Okay? See you there.
Yes.
March 21st.
Awesome. I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to run. You guys know I love running, so I'm ready to run. I'm ready to go. Take this thing on fire. Listen, it's 9 o'clock. We promised 1 hour of power, but we've got one more. One more. If you can stay there with us for just one more minute, we would love that. We got one more powerhouse that's going to come to you, and then we want to open up for questions. By now, I hope you've put some questions in, because we want to answer them. So with that, our last but not least, Miss Wonderful Michelle, talking about spiritual things of wellness. Fernanda started. She's going to close us out.
I'm Michelle Serna, and I am an author. I have written a book called The Spirit-Led Wife, and spiritual growth is my passion. And I wanted to talk to you. I really enjoy hearing everything that everyone is saying today, and I can't wait to implement these things in my life and to come in March and to learn and grow more with each one of them. But I wanted to say, without that spiritual foundation, that wellness in foundation, it's like the parable says, everything is sinking sand. And what does that mean? Every work that you do in your physical, your financial, your mental, without that spiritual foundation, it could all collapse.
Yes.
And so it's very important. And maybe you've been spiritually strong in the past. Maybe you've lost some of your focus. Maybe you've lost that purpose in your life. But that's okay, because it's not too late to start again fresh today. My theme for January is new every morning. And that comes from the book of Lamentations in the Bible. And it says where God's mercies are new every morning. So this is a reminder for me that every morning is a fresh start. Every morning I can put yesterday's failures behind me, and I can start fresh and make something happen today. And so for you, I want to suggest for you to, in order to grow spiritually, and to build that foundation, you need to go deeper this year. You need to go deeper. You need to intentionally carve out 10 to 30 minutes of your day for your spiritual growth. Now this might look different to you than it might look to each one of us. But for me, that 10 to 30 minutes is to start my morning every day with prayer. I pray for my family, I pray for my loved ones, I pray for God's direction and purpose in my life every morning. And I do pray throughout the day, but I set that time aside every morning before I do anything else, and I put that in order. And for me, this year I've started a new spiritual reading plan. I read through the Bible, and I pick out a new plan. So I've already started this plan. So what it looks like is every night I'm reading intentionally on purpose, and as I read, I'm meditating on what that says to me. And I'm taking that journal, that paper, and I'm writing down. It's important. I write it down every single day, even if it's one word, one sentence, or a whole page. I'm writing what I'm hearing from that reading, what I hear in my spirit, what it means for my life, my direction, my purpose. And I'm writing that down, and that's critical for that spiritual growth. So if you're going to be intentional about it, if I'm going to commit to it, if I'm going to be intentional in my spiritual growth, what's it going to look like? I'm going to begin to break off those negative cycles. I'm going to be able to break off those unproductive cycles that may have come up in my life. I'm going to get out of that spiritual rut, per se. And then I'm going to be equipped and empowered to be well and succeed in every area of my life. When I put that foundation first, all of these areas, the physical, the financial, the mental, everything's going to come into alignment. Everything's going to fall into place. And so I just want to remind you, new every morning. It's a new day, it's a new week, a new month, a new year. It's a new decade. Right? And so with that, I'm excited to grow with each one of these ladies, and I can't wait to see you in March 21st.
Woo! I am so excited. I can't stay in the seat. It's bothering me. You probably know that and see me fidgeting. But listen, new every morning. Every morning. Guess what? Tomorrow is a brand new morning. I'm going to encourage you to make a difference today. But tomorrow is a new morning. So ladies, you've heard it right here. You've had opportunities to transform your life physically, mentally, spiritually, financially. Tips and tools right here. There's power in these women. There's power inside of you. You've got the power. Now the question is, will you take advantage of it? Will you walk into 2020 with the power? You've got a number of tools to walk away from this live and implement into your life. I want to open up right now for questions that people may have. We're a little bit after 9 o'clock. Our power hour has officially ended. Now it's time for Q&A. We're going to talk about the special. For those of you that are watching live, if you're here in Southern California or any parts of the United States and you want to be here with us on March 21st, 3, 2, 1, blast off. You will get an opportunity to get a special. Make sure that you've registered though. That's where we send the email with the special code, 50% off. Woo! 50% off. That's huge as we move into 2020. I know Christmas just hit us, which is one of the reasons why we changed our date. Christmas is past. We're going to still save you money because we want you here. We are invested in your future, in your wellness. So come and invest with us by signing up for the conference. Again, www.empoweredwomenandwellness.org. So with that, I'd like to hear questions. Do we have any questions out there, tech crew, from our watchers, our viewers?
One person wanted to know, and that's Rhonda McNally. Where are you? And currently we're at the Rock Church broadcasting, correct?
We're in Temecula, California. Oh no, we're not in Temecula. We're in Marietta, right off the border of Temecula, Marietta. We are currently in the Rock Church, which by the way, I want to say a big thank you to the Rock Church of Temecula for number one, allowing us to do this live here, but this is the home of our conference. So I'm so grateful for them. It's a beautiful facility. I tell you, you want to be here on March 21st to experience this. So we are at the Rock Church of Temecula Valley in Marietta, California. Any other questions? No other questions? Wow, okay. Well, that's great. Any questions from our audience out here?
I can't wait.
Okay. The only man in the house, he can't wait. He's going to violate.
But he's a smart man.
He's a smart man. That's right. Yes.
Will there be other workshops such as this prior to March 21st?
That's a great question. We are coming again in February. So what our goal is to every month have another event so that we can bring our speakers and even you all together to encounter and take advantage of what the information and knowledge that we're going to put forward. So look forward to what we're doing next month, and it will be posted on our Instagram, Facebook, YouTube channels, again, Empowered Women in Wellness. So stay tuned.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, any other questions out there? Questions from you? Yes.
Is there by chance a podcast
Oh,
that we could tune into to help us get ready?
yes, we have a podcast. It's called Empowered Women in Wellness, and we just released our fifth episode, and it's really fun. I'll tell you, myself and Misty, we are the co-hosts of the podcast, and it's been amazing. So tune into Empowered Women in Wellness. We're on Spotify, we're on iTunes, we're on all of those SoundCloud, those platforms. I don't even know them all. I just put the information out there. So make sure you tune in. Good nuggets to help you continue in your growth in everything wellness, all things wellness. In fact, we just get ready to start our series with some interviews with some of the ladies that you see around the table, as well as others in our community. So tune in, Empowered Women in Wellness podcast.
Well, also, there are a lot of positive feedback coming from the audience here on Facebook. Relissa Young says this is an amazing panel and lineup. Another watcher says, yes, daily prayer, talk to God first thing every day.
Awesome.
New every morning, yes, I love this. Spiritual foundation is key, yes. So there are quite a few positive comments. Everybody is enjoying this session,
Great.
and I'm sure they look forward to seeing you all again.
Great, thank you. A big shout out to our tech and support team on the other side. They are amazing, and they are empowered women.
Yes.
So we bring you an all-women crew, with exception show the man in the house, the one man in the house. We are so excited for you ladies. Make sure you follow us on Facebook. Go to our website. Follow us on Instagram and YouTube. We are ready to continue empowering you and giving you everything you need to make 2020 your best year yet. We thank you, we love you, and we leave you with the word, be empowered. 3, 2, 1, blast off! Ladies, wow.
That was wonderful.
I had 6 on Instagram.
Okay, awesome. You're all on Instagram. That was amazing. That's
Mom,
amazing.
don't-
I'd like to get some
Wait.
random
Video.
pictures here and there. You guys randomly go sit in the sofa, take a picture in the chair. You do some random
She had
crazy
quite a
things.
few.
Yeah, 100.
How much?
I had 6. There's
You
about
saw something?
130.